Hello guys, this is the start of my Server Basics series, and today we are going to learn how to install Windows Server 2019. But why do something like this in 2020 when everything is about cloud and Microsoft is cancelling its entire range of on-premises certifications? Well, if you are starting in IT today and you are interested in infrastructure and services, Windows Server is still a great place to start. You will learn foundations and services of all modern businesses, and Windows Server is at the foundation even of the Azure stack. So the knowledge you get with the Windows Server is still very much valid, and you can apply it in a lot of places. And if you grasp the concept of these services more or less, it's the same throughout other platforms. We will start with the software download. We need to find Windows Server installation. We are going to do that at the Microsoft Evaluation Center, so no need for you to buy the software or pirate it. You can go to Microsoft Evaluation Center and find your Windows Server 2019 installation there. Here's the link. A link and all the important things I'm talking about are written in my blog, so I will put the link in the description. You can visit it and go through there if something is not clear in this video. Okay, let's go back to the Windows Server trial. Trial is valid for 118 days. You can rearm it a couple of more times, so plenty of time to learn Windows Server technologies. Okay, we are going to go with the ISO image. Continue. I'm going to put in my name, my last name. I don't have a company, so I will put it like this. Company size, it's me. Job title, whatever. Email address, my real address. Phone number is going to be binary, since I don't like sales and marketing calls. Country is going to be Croatia. And no, please, no, thank you to the tips and news. Continue. Okay, language of the installation. The language you select here, the installation of the Windows Server and Windows Server will be in it. So I will choose English, choose the language of your preference, and download. Okay, we started the download of our ISO image. Now the next thing we need to talk about is where will you install Windows Server. You have two options, hardware or virtualization. If you're doing this on a hardware, you will probably do that on a server or the desktop machine. You will need to prepare this ISO image using a tool called Rufus. Rufus will help you make this Windows Server installation bootable, so check that out. You will need to mount installation, plug in your USB drive, and then you are good to go. Next, if you are going either with the hardware or a virtualization environment, you will need to satisfy some basic requirements. As for CPU, it's 1.4 GHz 64-bit CPU. I will give my recommendations, which will be valid, especially if you are planning to do multiple virtual machines, so you can have a more complex lab. So with the CPU, my preference would be to have at least 2, ideally 4 or more cores CPU, so you can work at better speeds. RAM 512 megabytes for a core installation, that's non-GUI installation. 2 gigabytes of RAM for server with a graphical interface. Again, 4 gigabytes of RAM would be my recommendation at minimum. If you have if you're planning to do extensive labbing with Windows Server, then 16 gigabytes of RAM would be a minimum. Next, for a storage controller and disk space, storage controllers, okay, any of these will be good, so standard motherboards should work. Minimum disk space is 32 gigabytes of disk storage. Couple of hundreds of gigabytes of disk storage would be nice if you're planning to do multiple Windows Server machines. Again, if you're doing this on a server or a desktop machine, especially on a server, The wise thing to do before we start installation would be to patch up all the firmwares, to create right fields on your RAID controller, be it software or hardware RAID controllers, or and in the end, to prepare drivers for your storage or RAID controller, just to have them at hand in case Windows Server 2019 doesn't recognize your storage device. If you are doing this in a virtual environment, you have a couple of options. If you are on Windows, you can install Hyper-V in Windows 10. You can go with VirtualBox if you are using Linux, Mac, or Windows. You can go with a VMware player if you are on Windows. I'm on Mac, and I will use VMware Fusion. I will show you how to prepare bare virtual machine, and how to install Windows Server on it. So it's the concept is same in all virtualization software. It's just a matter where the setting is located. So you need this concept applies to all other virtualization software. So we will select new, create a custom virtual machine, select continue. Okay, Microsoft Windows we need. Server 2016 is the best I can get. Okay, it will be enough. It's very much compatible with Server 2019. Continue, choose firmware. Okay, I will stick with UEFI, no legacy BIOS. Choose disk, create a new virtual disk. Okay, finish. Okay, I will customize settings and give my virtual machine a custom name. It will be server basics 01 VM. Save. Okay, just arrange this a little bit before we continue. Okay. In settings I like to set a few things. I like to disallow my printer for virtual machine because I don't need it. I like to set my USB to connect to my Mac. By default, I like to set my CPU to 4 cores for this. 8 GB of RAM. Again, you are going to do this according to your hardware specifications and what you are able to give to the VM. And I'm going to assign ISO image I downloaded. This one is still downloading, but I downloaded it before, so we will use that one. So I will attach that ISO image and connect that CD DVD drive to this virtual machine. I will also set up a startup disk to be CD DVD, since we mounted our downloaded ISO image to this virtual CD DVD. If you are doing this on a server or a desktop machine, you will have to go to the BIOS and you will have to set your USB drive, your USB stick, or a CD DVD as a main boot, so you can boot Windows installation from it. Also, if you are using Rufus, be sure to check, do you have UEFI compatible or classical BIOS motherboard, so you can customize your Windows installation according to that. Okay, more or less we are done. We will now start our virtual machine. Okay, we are greeted with this screen. We will press enter. You can press any key literally for this to start, and we are going to start Windows installation. Waiting game begins now. If you are doing this on the SSD drive, if you place your VMs on the SSD, it's going to be much faster experience than on a classical HDD drive. So language to install, I selected already on the download page English, so that is that. Time and currency, you can specify that according to your needs, and keyboard also you can specify according to your needs. I'm going to choose United States International. Let's go with next. Install now. If you are in the need to repair your installation, you have a broken boot record or something, you can try with the Windows Server installation media, and you can go here to do that. But now we are doing a fresh install, so install now. Setup is starting. Okay, a little bit more of waiting. Next thing we are going to do is select our installation. We are going to with data center desktop experience. Okay, next, there is not much difference between standard and data center editions. It's something about licensing, I think, and a few roles, but I'm not sure. They're pretty much the same. Next, I need to check it in documentation. Okay, read the license terms, of course. Accept the agreement if you agree. We are going to select custom install Windows only. Okay, we see our empty drive. If you are doing this again on the hardware machine, on bare metal, on server or desktop machine, if you don't see the drive here, you need to load the driver. As I mentioned before, you need to have your RAID controller or storage driver prepared, and you will load it, and you will then see your empty drive here. Also, if you are planning to do this on a disk that already has some documents on it, if you are not good with partitioning and merging data, it would be nice for you to do this on an empty disk, because this will overwrite all the data on your disk. Okay, we have everything good for us here, so we will select next. Again, a little bit more of waiting, and installation will start. Installation has a couple of steps. I will fast forward through them, and we will see each other at the end, at the finishing up, when we finish this process. Okay, we are at the restart screen. In my case, this installation took 4 minutes, so it was pretty fast for me. The machine will now reboot. The important thing is, after this reboot, you will be offered to press the key again. Don't press any key. Do not press anything, because it will interrupt the installation. If you do press something, be sure just to cancel that installation when it starts on the language selection screen, and try to reboot to get to this again. So do not press anything now when you are offered to press any key. Also, today, in this day and age, these installations are just blazing fast. Back in the day, when everything was done with the floppy drives, installation like this will took hour or two, especially if you have a broken floppy drive or something. It was just not so great experience, and a great waste of time. So it rebooted again. Do not press any key. Wait for it to go to the setup screen. Okay, so we are greeted here with the customize settings screen. What we will do is we need to specify a password for administrator user. For every machine that's going to production, be sure that your password is strong. Be sure that it's 12 characters long at least, to have letters, to have numbers, to have special characters. Otherwise, you will get pwned. Okay, finish. When you enter your password, choose unique, strong passwords. And these passwords don't match. That's interesting thing. I talk too much and think too much. Okay, think too little while I'm talking. Okay, finalizing your settings. We are at the login screen. If you are doing this on a desktop machine or server, press Ctrl Alt and Delete. And if you're doing this on a virtual machine, you will need to find Ctrl Alt Delete combination somewhere in your settings. Enter your password once again, and that's it. We are done. We are personalizing settings, and we are done. We are successfully installed our first Windows Server machine. one thing before I end this video is, if you are doing this in virtualization, it would be wise to install okay, VMware has these, VirtualBox has these. I'm not sure about the Hyper-V anymore. I think it automatically integrates with Windows products. You need to install VMware tools, so it's kind of virtual drivers, so that Windows Server can better integrate with virtualization software. If you've done this on a server or desktop machine, be sure that your first step after this is installing all the drivers for your hardware. And that's pretty much it for this installation part. I will try to do configuration part of the Windows Server and various services that it offers, so that you can see how it all functions in an enterprise environment, in working environment. Let's just hope I have enough time to do these videos. Until then, have a nice day. Bye bye.